Welcome to Phoenix and Flame, my podcast about rising from the ashes on the wings of boundaries. I'm Dana Skaggs, a psychotherapist known as the Queen of Boundaries. If you are new to Phoenix and Flame, please subscribe so you will be notified of new episodes. Visit Dana Skaggs, DanaSkaggs.com for a free quiz to discover how boundaries are impacting your life. This podcast is not intended as psychotherapy. If you are in crisis, please call 911 or contact your local crisis hotline. Welcome, friends. Whether you're out on a walk, running errands, or relaxing at home, it's wonderful to connect with you. Joining us today is Matt O'Neill. Now, Matt is a recognized leader in happiness education. He teaches how to live a life of conscious happiness. His work includes the Good Mood Revolution book and podcast, where he explains the importance of conquering negative thought patterns while embracing habits that lead to a happier life. Matt, welcome to Phoenix and Flame.
Dana, I am so happy to be here with you today. I love your podcast. I love you. This is an honor.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Now, you also have a wife and 4 young children. You run 2 successful businesses with $8 million in revenues and over 80 employees. Oh my gosh, you definitely have a lot of spinning plates. And so I feel like my audience can definitely resonate with you and what this is like and how to do all the things. So how did this come about for you?
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. What a great question. And the thing is that life is busy for every single one of us. I don't care if you have no kids or if you have children, what ages they are, what your career is. This is just a world in which every single person I know is stretched thin and is super busy. And it just feels kind of overwhelming sometimes, like all the different things that we have going on and all the people we're trying to keep up with, and we're trying to be a great friend, and we're trying to be social, and then but then we need time for ourselves, and we know that, but we always neglect ourselves. We kind of put ourselves on the back burner so we can do all the other things for all the other people and kind of keep up with the Joneses. And I certainly have been in that trap. What I did is I grew up in not a super emotionally healthy household and got a bunch of bad habits about how to not be in good moods and not be happy, and went on a really self-destructive path. And then found some books, some really good books. The Secret, I watched that movie a few times when I was in my 20s. I read, at this point, almost 1,000 books about psychology and happiness and how to feel great. And 2 decades worth of work on this. And I've got quite a few answers about how to not get swallowed up by this world. But on that path, I kind of fell into the lie that we all fall into, which is if I just make everything in my world perfect, if I get the right spouse, if I have the right children, they behave the right way, if our family looks perfect, if our Christmas goes great, if the house is right, if the car is right, if all of that stuff gets right, then I'll be happy. And you know what? I worked super hard to get all that stuff right. I worked really hard, like as hard as you possibly can. And it was never right enough to be happy. So eventually I woke up and I was like, I'll never be happy this way. There's no end to it. And it's like the unhappy billionaire, that you more and more and more, and it's never enough. Well, I found out that this is actually just one of the 8 bad moods that we all experience. And this desire for more is insatiable. It's the emotion of desire. And when we're trapped in that particular emotion, we can achieve a lot, but we never can actually experience happiness. So I talk about this progression of moods, which is my framework. And at the bottom of the progression of moods is this feeling that we're not enough. That was driving me my whole life. And you could do a lot of good things by not feeling like you're not enough because you're trying to prove you're enough. So you do all this great stuff to prove it, but you'll never satisfy it no matter how much you do. And so the progression of moods is these 8 negative feelings. And then beyond the 8 negative feelings is 8 positive feelings that we want to actually embrace and build as habits. And so that's what I teach.
Like a hierarchy. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to you talk already, things, the thoughts and memories are sparking in my mind. One of them is years ago when I was, gosh, probably still in high school, because I had this list, and I had this very interesting idea that at some point I was going to get to the end of my list. The to-do list, Now, Matt, I have forgotten a lot of things in my life, but let me tell you something. I remember the moment that it struck me that I was never going to get to the end of the list, because for everything that I checked off the top, more would be added on the bottom, because I was doing like you said. I was like, if I can just finish this, then I'll be happy. If I can just check these boxes and finish these tasks, then I'll be happy. And so
Right.
happiness kept getting pushed out and pushed out and pushed out. And the moment when I realized that I was never going to get to the bottom of that list,
Yep.
it's like the earth tilted on its axis. I thought,
It's a beautiful
oh
wake
my.
up. It's such an awesome awakening to awaken to this reality that I can't actually get through all of my problems, because as soon as I get through them all, another one shows up. I can't get through all of the life challenges because, as Phoenix and Flame, there's always another
There's
flame. There's always something else on fire. Always. So what we have to learn is that until I learn to be happy while everything is uncomfortable and messy, I'll never be happy.
I love it. I love it. It's almost like embracing the process, because when we think about a phoenix, they repeatedly catch on fire, burn to a pile of ash, and then they're reborn. And then they catch on fire again, and they burn to a pile of ash, and then they're
I think
reborn.
that's our life.
Yeah, is it not?
This is our life. But the beautiful thing is, each time we catch on fire, it's not comfortable ever.
Right.
Catching out, burning to a crisp never feels good.
It's not a good feeling.
But the rebirth, I think we rebirth at a higher level, more understanding. And so it's like, it's not just this kind of linear repetition. It's almost like we're going around a mountain, and each time around, we're a little bit higher and we can see more, because now we have more wisdom, and we bring all of those other rebirths with us. We haven't lost any of them. Just new levels. There's new devils, right? That's just how it is.
I love that. So, Matt, help my listeners understand, the ones that are caught in this loop of they feel like happiness is a myth. They feel like happiness is something other people have, or other people say they have, but they don't really have because they're actually lying.
Right.
And the people that are caught up just trying to not drown, to be honest.
Right.
So for those individuals, happiness is like a mirage that keeps moving in the desert, that someone says is real, but down in their core of their body, they don't really believe it's real, and they don't feel like they can reach it.
Or it's fleeting. And, all of us, I haven't met a person that hasn't had happy moments.
True. Good point.
And in fact, I haven't met a person that hasn't had happy moments this week. Even the ones that are on the brink of depression, that are at the very edge of their rope, there still are happy moments every single day. It's just that maybe we are, we're only hanging on to all of the negative emotions or the negative thoughts or the circumstances that aren't going well. So the first thing is to say everyone is dealing with this. I also haven't met a single person that hasn't had bad mood emotions every single week. I don't care who you are. The most enlightened being on the planet gets angry, frustrated, sad, and annoyed. Like it just all of them. We all have to deal with it. What we want to learn, though, first is that when I feel that way, there's nothing wrong with me, and that everyone's going through the exact same feelings. We all go through the exact same 8 negative feelings. all of us, there's nothing wrong with you when you're feeling negative. It's just actually part of the survival brain. Our brain is wired to feel negative to help us survive. And that's where all these 8 negative emotions come from. So the first negative emotion is the emotion that I'm not good enough, that there's
Mm.
something wrong with me, I'm rejectable, I'm unlovable, I'll never be enough. No matter what I do, it'll never be enough. That's the emotion of shame. That was
That's a big one. That's a
my
big one, man.
hardest
I hear that a
emotion.
lot.
My hardest emotion, and it would drove me to a high degree, right? It drove me to a lot of success because I was trying to prove that I was enough. And so like a mom that's trying to prove she's enough might have the perfect house and the kids might be dressed up perfect and they might always get to school on time. But at the same time, it just never feels like it's going to end and it's never enough. And there's no joy in this grinding it out to try to prove that you're enough because you can't. We
Mm-mm.
can't prove we're enough with our external results. So I just teach how to get past this. The first thing is that those feelings that we're not enough are lies. They're not true. They came from experiences when we were children. Maybe an adult directly said, you're not good enough, or maybe their actions. Me as a parent, I've done this to my own kids. I've shamed my own kids. I teach people how not to feel shame, and I've shamed my own kids. This is how we do it. This is it. I'm telling you, because I do it to my own. I just did it the other day. I bought this. I bought this. Um, something for the refrigerator that keeps your dill and your spices fresh. It's like a herb keeper, just
Nice. Okay.
a little plastic thing. My daughter says, "Oh, that's cool." Picks it up and immediately throws it on the ground and it breaks into a million pieces. And I was angry that I just bought this, and I'm trying to change the way I eat and eat more fresh herbs and fresh foods, and and I ordered this and it just showed up and I was ready, I'm trying to make this change. It's hard to make a nutrition change. And
Wow.
here she's been careless with the thing. It's the day I get it, it breaks it. Now, I didn't say you're stupid. I didn't say how dare you. I didn't yell at her, but what I did is I turned my back on her. I didn't say anything. I was upset and I turned my love away from her. Now, as a child, this has happened to us so many times. And for me, I did it just like last week. I just know that I'm doing it. Most people don't know they're doing it.
Mhm.
And she then in that moment ran off to her room and she runs away. And now she feels like she's not good enough. You think
Okay.
she meant to break the herb keeper? No,
Well, no.
no. She broke it. It was an accident. I'm also a normal human, and I was excited about this thing, and I'm trying to make it change, and I'm juggling all the things as you said, and now this is one more thing as I'm trying to cook dinner and wrangle my 3-year-old son who's being crazy and wants to like potty train at this exact moment, and and so I'm not a perfect human. I'm not Jesus, I'm like just a normal human, and so me turning my back on her or going silent or going cold sends a message to her that if you don't behave perfectly, you're not enough. Now, when I was growing up, this happened all the time. And then if I did really well on my grades, I was loved. And so I started to think I have to succeed and prove in order to be lovable. This has happened to all of us, every single one of
Hmm.
us. Even if you were
Yo.
raised by a happiness coach, if you're my daughter, it still happens to you. And so it's not a lot. It's not a truth, though, that we're not enough. It's not a truth that my daughter is not enough. She's completely enough as she is. She's totally lovable as she is. We do all make mistakes, every one of us. And so this lie is powerful when we believe it. Of course, I'm going to wrap the story with saying I went up into a room and I gave her a big hug and I said, people are more important to me than things. And you're way more important to me than a piece of plastic. And I love you so much. And I said, would you come back downstairs and help me with dinner? And she said yes. And so even though I wasn't perfect in the moment, because I can't be, I'm doing the best I can to make sure she knows she's lovable in all circumstances. And when we grow up, we're the adult to ourselves. We're the parent to ourselves. So when we keep saying subconsciously, I'm not enough and nothing I do is enough, we're just being that parent that says, unless you're perfect, you're unlovable. So this is how we end it. I want everyone to end shame, because it actually, when we feel unlovable, we do the worst things. That's when we're awful. We actually believe we're unlovable, so we do things that are unlovable. We're mean, we shout, we treat people terribly, and we're like, well, if I'm already unlovable, I might as well just be it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to heal it. And so what we do is think about this, the practices. Just go back in your childhood, think about the times that were the hardest, the worst things that were said to you, the times you felt awful. And then what were the lies you started to believe about yourself? For me, it was, I deserve to be punished. I don't deserve a dad. I should be rejected and abandoned. And so these were the lies that were kind of running my whole life. And I look at this list and I'm like, wow, no wonder I'm always in a bad mood. I'm believing this. This is the worst. And I said, well, what is the truth here? And I said, well, rather than I deserve to be abandoned, I deserve to be cared for. And I wrote that. And I said, rather than I'm unlovable, I'm always loved. And I wrote that. And this became a list of affirmations for me. And every single day I said out loud my new affirmations. And when my brain said, wait a minute, you're not actually lovable because you did this to your brother and you did this to your friend and you did that to this girlfriend, I would say, great. Okay, brain, if you want to collect all that evidence, I'll collect evidence about why I am lovable. Well, the other day I helped my friend when she was sick, and so every time my brain said the opposite, trying to pull me back into that lie of negativity, I said, well, here's my evidence about why the positive one is more true. Here's the great thing. The truth is 100 times more powerful, 1,000 times more powerful than the lie. So it doesn't take long to reprogram this lie into the truth, because all of us are the light. Jesus said, you're the light of the world. Every single person is.
I like that. So you're creating a balance. You're intentional. You're kind of, because that's what I think you mean probably by conscious happiness, that we develop an awareness of what's going on in our mind so that we can counter it. Now, what do you find as the most common barriers to achieving this kind of, what you're describing is sort of an emotional transformation, kind of a belief system transformation? What have you experienced as being the most common barriers that people have to being able to do what you're suggesting they do?
I don't have enough time for that.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to get the kids up. I'm just trying to just get it all done, and I don't have enough time for it. This is one of the other negative emotions. It's the emotion of overwhelm. It's one of the 8. We've talked about shame, and now we're talking about overwhelm.
Talked about desire.
Yeah, right. Overwhelm, this idea that that's great if you own your own company like Matt and you can just use your time however you want. But I have a real job that I have to report to somebody, and I don't have time to, say affirmations every day. Well, here's what I did, because I am sure my time is stretched just as much as anyone's. I put these affirmations in my shower.
Nice.
I taped them to my shower wall high enough that the paper got all messed up, and now I've got it on the outside of a glass shower. And while I'm showering, I'm saying out loud the person I'm programming myself into be. And it doesn't take any extra time. Just in the shower, I'm just being conscious about where I'm directing my focus rather than unconscious about where I'm directing my focus. So no extra time to reprogram our beliefs. In the shower, we can say our affirmations. Another way that I reprogram myself with no extra time, one of the positive emotions I teach is gratitude.
I was just thinking about that.
It's a good one.
Likewise.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Gratitude is the gateway to all positivity. And the survival mind doesn't want to be grateful because it's a waste of time. It always needs more. Remember, it's like more, more, more. Why would I take time to be grateful? Well, our higher self or our soul, it wants us to be grateful. It just does. And it feels good to be grateful. But every day when I wake up, I put one foot on the floor and then I put the other foot on the floor. Everyone does that. Unless you jump up with 2 feet on the floor, like a super athlete.
I would
But
actually like to watch somebody do that.
everyone gets up and puts their feet on the floor. What I did is I taped a little sign next to my bed on the floor, and it says 2 words. It says, "Thank you." When my left foot hits the ground, I say thank. And when my right foot hits the ground, I say you. And as I walk to the bathroom, because everyone walks to the bathroom when they wake up, and as I go to turn off my phone alarm, as everybody turns off their alarm when they wake up, I'm saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. No extra time. It takes me no extra time to mutter these words of gratitude to the universe, to God, just out loud. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter what I'm saying thank you to. There's all these studies done about water, that if you just write the word thank you outside of a cup of water and you freeze it, it turns into the most beautiful crystals. And if you write the word I hate you or you're not enough on a cup of water and you freeze it, the crystals look all broken and ugly. So just the act of saying thank you out loud turns the water and the cells in our body into really beautiful crystals. It also changes our mind and makes it really beautiful. So this is a very easy thing to do every single morning. Takes no extra time.
Matt, what you're saying is absolutely spot on. And I wanted to share, I did a kind of a mini experiment one time. Every once in a while, I'll kind of have, like we all do, have struggles with dysphoria, just kind of down moods and just kind of a meh, right? You're not in a terrible mood, but you're not in a good mood. And then you have the shame and the guilt because you feel like I've got so much that, that I should be thankful for and I'm not. So then in addition to feeling kind of blah, now I'm feeling guilty and bad that I don't feel better. And I decided to try gratitude as kind of like to something to counter that. So whenever I started this about a year and a half ago, whenever one of those moods started kind of creeping up on me, I would just start saying out things out loud like, I'm grateful that I was able to sleep in a warm bed last night. And if I'm in the shower, whenever it hits me, if I'm in the shower, I'm like, I'm grateful that I like the smell of my shampoo. I'm grateful that I have a razor to shave my legs. And just wherever I am, just whatever my eyes fall on or whatever my senses touch or smell or taste, I just say, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. Just very, very simple things. And I did it as an experiment to see if it would have any impact on those rather dysphoric moods. And in fact, it did. It absolutely did. I mean, and because I'll tell you, man, I used to journal, and when I was feeling these down moods, I would pull out and I would start writing how I felt.
Yep.
And I noticed that wasn't helping. Just writing how I was feeling was just kind of reinforcing it. So I said, well, I'm going to try this other experiment. And that's when I tried the gratitude thing. And like I said, I started about a year and a half ago, and it absolutely has made a difference. And it does, like you said, it doesn't take any more time. Just wherever I happen to be, whatever I happen to be doing, I just talk about what I'm grateful for in that moment. And it does make a difference.
Well, let's talk about why it actually saves us time to do these things that take no extra time.
Excellent.
When we're in that blah mood, how good of a employee are we? Mediocre. We're blah. How good of a parent are we? How good of a spouse? Like, how good of a lover are we when we're Or just, the life is just meh. We're not actually good at anything. However we feel is however we perform in any area. So if we do what you do, and as we're feeling we're like, you know what? I am grateful that I have running hot water. There are so many people in the world that don't, and man, it feels good to have running hot water. Like, so nice. It's so good that my house doesn't have a dirt floor. That I actually have carpet and hardwoods, and that there's air conditioning and that there's heat that comes through my registers. Like, this is unbelievable that I get to have this. That I am so lucky. I'm so blessed. And then all of a sudden now we start to feel like pretty blessed. And when we feel pretty blessed, I'm like looking at my kids and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so blessed that I have you. You're amazing. Like, you are such a good kid. I look at my wife. I'm like, now I'm starting to get tears of joy. I'm like, you are the best wife ever. And then, like, How do you think my love life is when I think my wife is the best wife ever?
Much better.
Amazing. How do I think I am as a father when I'm so blessed to have these kids? I'm the best father. Am I at work when I'm saying to every single person I get to work with, I am so blessed I get to work with you. Like, we were named the #1 company to work for out of 470,000 in the state of South Carolina.
You are kidding me.
This
Say that one more
happened.
time. Say that one more time.
The #1 company to work for out of 470,000. We're the #1 place in the whole state of South Carolina to work. And it's all it is that I do what you said. I practice gratitude. And because my heart is grateful when I see people in my company, I'm so grateful. Now, we weren't this 10 years ago. We weren't. We had all kinds of turnover and people were like, meh, because that's where my mood was, right? So we're like, we were talking about how the myth is I don't have enough time. What I'm saying is that if we take just a little bit of effort and become the happiest version of ourselves that we can, and this is a skill. It is a skill that you can learn. Get my book, Good Mood Revolution, Igniting the Power of Conscious Happiness. Listen to my podcast, Good Mood Revolution. You will learn the tips on how to become happier. I've given a few of them here, and then you just do them. As you do them, everything in your life gets better. And in fact, you save time because now I'm not having to run after my daughter and sit down with her and say, sorry for yelling at you as often. I'm not having to go to marriage counseling because my marriage is falling apart. I'm not having to go hire all these people because everybody's leaving my company, right? In fact, it's probably the thing that saves me the most time is becoming my happiest self. And there's a side benefit. I feel freaking awesome.
That's a nice benefit.
Man, that's what we all want. I haven't met anyone that doesn't want to be happier. It is what we all want. No one's teaching us how, though. That's the disconnect. We all want it. And then we all fall into that lie that I said I fell into, which is if I just get everything perfect and there's no problems, then I'll be happy. It will never happen. There will always be problems and nothing can ever be perfect. So that's not the way. The way is figuring out how to be happy as there are problems and things aren't perfect. And that is totally possible.
That is amazing. Now, let me ask you this. If there's a listener who happens to be in a really big crisis right now, they are just ass over elbows in fear and anger and resentment and bitterness and rage and all the things for any number of reasons.
I've been in
And they're
those
listening,
for all the reasons. Yep.
And sometimes when you're in that place, you listen to someone talking like you're talking and you feel like you can't get to where they are. How can you reach out to them? How can you throw them a rope so they can actually get to where you are?
This is chapter 3 of my book. It's called Grab the Rope.
You are kidding me. Oh my goodness.
So good. It's so good. So I've been in those. I've had disasters, I've had betrayal, I've had, I've walked people through cancer treatments that didn't make it, close family members. Those times, those crisis times, those are really hard times. We move into the emotion, one of the 8 negative emotions of hopelessness. And when we're in that emotion, we all experience it. I experience it. You will experience it. The person listening experiences hopelessness. If you're there right now, it's a lie. The lie of hopelessness says life is beyond hope of brighter days. And it's always going to be like this. And I'll never be able to have those beautiful days that Matt's talking about. That's the lie. And when we're in the emotion, the lie is true. And we really believe that life is beyond hope. And so the story I tell is the little fable about the guy that prays to God. A flood is coming to his town, and he prays to God to save him. And he says, God, please help me, save me from the flood. And that night he put some sandbags in front of his front door, and the waters come and they rise over the sandbags, and they start to get the first floor of the home starts to flood. And he sees his 2 neighbors like rowing away on a boat, and they're like, hey, come on, jump in the boat. Here's the rope. And he's like, no, I'm good. I prayed to God to save me. I'm good. You guys go ahead. And then the water rises to the second level, And then his neighbors come by in a motorboat. They're like, dude, take the rope. And he's like, I'm good. I'm good. You guys go. I prayed to God. He'll save me. And then it gets up on his roof and a helicopter comes by and drops a rope ladder. And they're like, grab the rope. And he's like, no, I'm good. I prayed to God. He'll save me. And then the waters come and sweep him away and he dies. And he gets and he sees God and God's like, and he's like, God, why didn't you save me? And God's like, I sent you a rowboat, a motorboat, and a helicopter. You got to grab the rope. And this is it. This is it. So when we're feeling hopeless, the lie is that life can't be brighter. It feels totally true in that moment. All we have to do in this emotion is ask for help. For me, it's prayer, but we can ask for help from anyone. Now we have to ask for help sometimes multiple times, like every day, like pray for help. God, help me with this. Universe, help me. Source, help me. Whatever it is, whatever is a bigger thing that we believe in, if we ask for help, it will show up. It might look like a rowboat, a motorboat, a helicopter. It might look like a friend who calls you and says, hey, would you like to go with me to this event? And you're like, I don't want to go to that event. I don't feel like doing anything. I don't want to go out. That's the rope. It might look like somebody calling and saying, hey, do you want me to watch the kids so you can go out or go to the spa or something like that? And you're like, no, I couldn't do that. I couldn't impose on you. You couldn't watch my kids. That's the rope.
Grab
right?
the rope.
This is the two ways out of that emotion of hopelessness, of darkness, is to ask for help. For me, it's prayer, but you can ask anything for help. You can just ask for help out to the ether. It'll show up. And then you have to take it when it shows up. It won't look like what you think it'll look like. It'll look like a rowboat. And you're like, it shouldn't be a rowboat. God should save me. He should float down on a cloud and I should jump on the cloud, right? It's not going to look like you think it'll look, but it'll show up and then you have to grab it. And it's hard to do when you're feeling hopeless, but there's the only way out of that is to ask for help and receive it.
I love that. Ask for help and receive it. There's two things there, because one of them, it requires us to be transparent and to be vulnerable, to share with someone that we're in a bad place and we need some help. That's hard for us to do. And I think doing that, and also you said receiving it, being able to be receptive to that. And I think even something small, like you were mentioned earlier, and I kept thinking of mindfulness, of instead of desire and running after other people, being in the moment, something like appreciating a cup of coffee. Or if you're walking to work and you happen to notice that a wildflower, has pushed its way up between two concrete slabs. And there's something about that moment that draws your attention to that flower. And just receiving that, being in that moment and receiving what that feels like to you, to notice that wildflower that has pushed its way up between these two concrete slabs, is just having an awareness for those kinds of things. I think that's amazing.
Dana, you're right with it. There's a reason your podcast is so successful, and it's because you're so far along this path. That's absolutely the answer. And this kind of thought that no one's here to help me and I'm all alone in my struggles is not true. And I'll tell you why it's not true. Do you grow your own food? Dana, do you grow your own food?
Do I grow my own food? Well, wouldn't you laugh if I said, actually, Matt, I do, but no. No.
Did you design the car you drive?
Nope.
How about that chair you're sitting in? Did you build it?
Nope.
Nope. Did you build your house?
Nope.
So let's just think about this. No one's here to help us, and yet thousands of people are picking the food we eat, putting it in trucks, driving it to the grocery store, working and managing the grocery store just so that you can have help and eat something today. Mm-hmm. Thousands of people have designed the automobiles we get to drive, are getting the gasoline that go in them or the electricity that goes in them. They have paved the roads, have kept the roads in good shape. All of these, like countless people every single day, are helping us. So we're always being helped by so many people. There's so much support around us all the time. And yet here we are, like this, it's such a selfish thought to think I'm all alone and no one's here to help me and nothing will help me. That's ignoring. That's why gratitude's so powerful. That's ignoring all the things that are currently helping you. And as
Yeah.
we start to say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for the grocery store workers. Thank you for the people that picked this beautiful grapefruit that I get to eat today. Thank you for the person that made the eggs, got the eggs ready for me for my breakfast. Like now we're starting to say, oh my gosh, like there's help all around me. And it's okay. I can ask for more. This is one of the things that I used to think I can't ask for help unless it's really bad. I don't want to ruin my favors now, but what's cool is that the universe, God, whatever you subscribe to, it actually wants to help you with every single thing. Every single thing. The more you ask for help, the more you receive it. So every morning I pray and I say, guide me today. I want your help today. I want your help with every interaction. I want your help with this podcast. I prayed before this podcast. Tell me what to say. Tell me what needs to be said. Tell me what the person that will listen in the future needs to hear me say today. And when we start to ask for help all the time, we start to notice that the whole world is like magically showing up to help us all the time. And everything goes easier. God also gives us complete free will. And so if we want to pretend like we're on our own and suffer and say it's all up to me and nobody can help me, our free will allows us to feel that way, even though it's not true. And we get to suffer because we're choosing it. And it's a choice. So this is why I talk about is conscious happiness.
Right.
That is an unconscious choice to say it's all up to me. It's not true. And then consciously we can counter it and say, actually, I can ask for help and receive it.
So, Matt, I can unequivocally say that I feel like we could talk for at least another hour.
At
But
least.
and I know my listeners are like, wait, stop. But I know they're going to want to be able to access you and all this wonderful information and experience and wisdom that you're sharing. So the website that I have that you want them to go to is your name, mattoneil.com. Is this
Yeah.
correct?
Right.
Okay. Because I want to make sure I put that in the show notes. Listeners don't, if you're out running or whatever, no worries. It's going to be in the show notes.
The best place to plug in is with my weekly podcast. So if we're already listening to Phoenix and Flame, which is a phenomenal podcast, but if you were looking to add a second podcast each week, it's the Good Mood Revolution. And each week I just talk about little ways to be happier. And it's a really good way to plug into my world and start. It doesn't take no extra time. We drive for 30 minutes a week. We just put a
Plug it in.
podcast in instead of music, and then no extra time. We start to get these little ideas, and then they start to become our way of life. I reprogram my own mind by listening to countless books while I drove, while I was working out, and I just let all that information sink into my subconscious instead of what I was doing, which is all these stressful TV shows.
Yeah.
And guess what happens when we listen to all that true crime being the number one podcast genre out there. We listen to all the ways that people get murdered and the bodies hidden. How do we feel inside when we're listening to that garbage?
Yeah. Oh my
If you're a true crime
gosh.
fan, no hate. Okay, I get it. It's fun to indulge in fear and anxiety, but it is a shallow form of fun compared to indulging in actual beauty and joy and happiness.
That is fantastic. Matt, thank you so much for your time and your attention and your wonderful experience and being willing to share with my listeners today. Thank you so, so much.
Dana, thank you for being who you are. Your show is awesome.
Thank you. Listeners, I know that you have heard numerous things today from Matt that you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have a best friend. I have a coworker. I have a family member that has got to hear what Matt has to say. Take this podcast episode, copy and paste the link in text, copy and paste it in an email, put it on your favorite social media platforms. Let's grow our Phoenix and Flame community so we can reach out and let people know you are not alone. I'm Dana. I hope you've had a great day. I hope the rest of your day is fantastic. This is Phoenix and Flame.